Good day, everyone, and welcome to Ferg TV. I'm Ray, and I'm sitting in my Volvo VNL for a good reason. We have what you probably have if you have a Volvo VNL, and we're suffering from a broken freezer door. So this is pretty typical, I gather. I see a lot of them online. When they're showing pictures of them, they show them like this. So I thought that they just unsnapped the doors, but I learn every day. It's not unsnapped, it's broken. So I'm going to attempt to repair that pin because I tried to find a door online without any success. So I'm inviting you to stop up in the shop with me, and we'll see together if this is a success or an epic failure. Let's go up into the shop. Welcome to the shop. So I cleaned up the door. It had residual adhesive on it from the Gorilla Tape that I put on to get back from Kansas. And this is the epoxy that I'm going to give a shot to and see if it works. It's a two-pot. It's PC Super Epoxy, and it's supposed to be pretty strong. I don't know, we're going to wait and see. And it sets up work time 15 minutes, so that'll be good. The other thing that we're going to do is we need a pin, and Sue had a couple of these hanging around, so I'm going to take the straight part out of this with my grinder. Actually, we're going to make two cuts to it, so let's do that. There's one. Yeah, that's hot. All right, now all I gotta do is find the piece. Well, you're not gonna believe this one. I looked all over for this thing for, I don't know, 5 minutes. And where it was still on the piece that I cut. It just went down like that. Who knew? All right, I gotta clean this up a little bit, and then we will attempt to put it in there. Okay. The good thing is it was all cooled off by the time I found it, because I'm sure it was a little hot. All right. Now the question is, how much of this can we get on there? So the pin doesn't want to be too long sticking out. Probably wants to be about that much. So GoPro shut off there for some strange reason. They do have a mind of their own. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of cut this right out. I'll probably use the grinder and then just set that right on there and glue it in. So let's try that. Maybe I can give you a better view over here. Yeah, we get you zoomed in a little bit. So here's what I'm thinking is I'm just going to cut this back over here and let it stick out just that little bit. So probably about where I want to be. And that way there, it'll give me something good to glue to. And then we just need to get this out of here now. Probably not the best tool to be doing this with. I don't want to take too much out because I don't want to weaken it too much. But that has to be in line, so it can't be setting out here. Can it? It does a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah, it does a little bit. But I think we need to get that probably even. I'm wondering what my best bet is to take that out of there. I don't think this is my best weapon here. I don't know, maybe it was. Maybe it's my best weapon. It's not quite flat there yet though. And I still think it should set in a little bit more. So let me find another tool to work on that and I'll come back. I'm going to try this, it's almost like a rasp, but it's a file. And because I'd kind of like it to be round in here, that would give us better support, a better base to glue to. But you got to go back a little bit. I'm out too far. I'm not going to be in line where we need to be. About even with the top there. I'm looking at the other side. That's what's making me say that. But see what's happening? It's giving it a nice radius in there. It should give us a good place to glue this. Yeah, I gotta get on the other side and look at this. So here's what I'm looking at. It's not even with the other side. It almost feels like it wants to go in just a little bit more. Just a wee bit more. Make you throw up here moving around like that. And that's not what I want to do. Hey, this might be a good time for you to go give it the old up yours. Don't do it for me, do it for YouTube. They love that sort of thing. You know, and if you're getting anything out of any of these, I don't know, you might subscribe. It really would help out the channel. I would appreciate it, and so I can continue making these things. I need 1,000 subscribers to be able to monetize it, and at some point I would like to do that. People say, oh, I don't do them for the money. Well, it's not that I'm going to get rich doing it, but I'm going to tell you, this takes an awful lot of time to make these things because you got to edit everything after, and it always adds to the time that it takes to do whatever project you're doing. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to tell you what, I think I'm about happy with that. But what I would like to do is get it to go back just a little bit further. And I think we can do that by just working right there. It's a pretty good file because it's good right to the end there. So I can dig it right in here. And then we're going to glue it up and probably tape it on, because I don't know how you're going to hold it on without taping it. So I'll round up some tape, and I hope that's not going out too far. So you know what, maybe we should go back in just a little bit more. Let's do that. And that'll give it even more support here. Probably blocking you. I need a cameraman. This is a one-man operation. All right, let's see. The crew's got the day off. All right, we're just about there. This thing is working well. You're only working with plastic anyway. That's the reason that it broke. I would have just bought a door if I could have found one. But if I'm having trouble with it, maybe everybody else is having trouble with it. So if this gives you a little tidbit of information and you get to do yours, if, and it's a big if this is a success, yeah, you might want to be right about in there. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. Let me get set up with some tape and we're gonna do this up. I'll get some gloves and everybody's gonna be happy. I think the first thing that we'll do is we'll take a little denatured alcohol here clean this up. Not good adhesion. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this back there. I'm going to move you over a little bit. Can you see that we got a nice little radius there to set into, a little trough that we made. I don't know, I think that'll help. It can't hurt. It's better than going straight in there, because then you'd only be touching at one point. Now I should be touching in the entire radius. It is another day. I decided to let this rest overnight and harden up. I kind of misread the instructions, or I read something into it that it didn't say. The instructions say that it's work time of 15 minutes. Work time, meaning you can still move something around. Not that it would be all set up and cured by then. So you're going to see along with me. Let's see here. Did this work out? Is it a success? And yeah, it feels pretty good. All right. But as they say, the proof is in the pudding. So we're going to go down now. That's step one. That seems to be a success. Step two is, does it fit? Is it going to stay and work? Let's go down to the truck and find out together. We made it down to the truck. I knew we would. I had faith. Now the question is, do we put the repaired end in first, which fits? And then what do? Do you bend it a little bit? I reckon, yeah. Ho, 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 baby. That is gonna work. Huh. Oh, they got a magnet up there. I just learned something. You guys probably already knew that have one of these, but we haven't used it yet. I got to clean around here and get this goop out of here from putting the tape on it. But that is a total success. Wow. Well, every now and then, something works out. Funny story. I was sitting down in front of my computer. I was going to do my editing on this little video, which is going to be short. And I said, oh, here's a great idea. Why don't I go out in front of the Volvo and I'll shoot a little snapshot that'll end up being my thumbnail for the video. So I go out there and I said, oh, here's a brainstorm. Why don't I take off the cover of the freezer door, and I'll use that as a prop. So I go to get that, and you can probably see where I'm going with this. So when I went to take it off, yep, I broke the other side off. Now, the thing is, it didn't take much to break it off. I figure it was probably fractured, and this is for the best, because it was going to end up breaking on me down the road. I did think about doing both sides when I was in the shop, and then I said to myself, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But I feel like it saved me, because it was going to break going down the road, you know, a little road vibration, and thing will end up breaking on you. So it was for the best. I thought I would just give you a little chuckle. It's the way life goes, right? What are you going to do? Just grin and bear it. Well, here we are. I tell you, it turned into a little bit more of a project than I wanted it to, but I'm glad it happened. Things happen for a reason, right? So this is the first one that I fixed, and you can see that, geez, I'll tell you, it worked out pretty good. The second one I broke off trying to take it out, as I explained, to do a thumbnail for the video, and that one came out pretty good. So I videotaped repairing it. I got some of it, and then other parts I thought that the camera was running. I don't know. For some reason, the camera was on vacation during the epoxying of it. You didn't miss much. Basically, I took the plunger, which dispenses equal parts of resin and hardener, put it onto a piece of cardboard, mixed it up with a toothpick, and then applied it. And yeah, that's the exciting part that you missed. So here's the more important part. If this all works out, which right now it looks like it will, here's what I used, and I'm sure there's other stuff out there, but it's PC Super Epoxy. And this, I read something into that wasn't there. That is the work time. The work time meaning it stays open where you can still move and, you know, it's still movable. It's not set up. Setup time's a lot longer than that. And I read this thing, it doesn't actually tell you what the setup time is, if it's an hour, 2 hours, or 24 hours. So I've been leaving it overnight after I epoxied it. And we're gonna go out in the truck there and we're gonna set it in. And we're gonna go out in the truck, but we gotta walk through the snow. It's another snow day. We're gonna get about 8 to 10 inches of snow again today. We're not out of winter yet. I'll see you out in the truck. All right, let's see if this is gonna be a success or not. So you can see the pins are sticking over. Can we bend it and get it in, or have I made the pins too long? I'm gonna find out. It might be a little bit long. And you know what? I might need to take that down a little bit right there. I don't know if you can see that, but right on the top, I might need to sand them down a little bit. Let's go back into the shop. I think I need to just clean the top off of that a little bit. I almost think the pin's a little bit long too, so we're gonna go make an adjustment. We made it up into the shop, and there's Bob sitting there waiting. We'll take that for sale sign out of the windshield and do a little snow removal here shortly. But let's pay attention to this project at hand. You know, as with everything, if you did this again, this wouldn't be as big a deal as it is here. It's a learning curve. That's kind of why you make one of these videos, so that if you go forward doing this, you don't run into the issues that I did. Not the videotaping issues, but the other issues. So this is just a tad high on top. And the beautiful thing about this epoxy is it says right on there, you can machine it a little bit. You know, you can do some filing, sanding, whatever you want to do to bring it down. So I added some on yesterday because I said, let's beef it up. And let's not beef it up because it's too high. So we're going to take that down a little bit. We'll do that on both sides. It's not going to take a whole heck of a lot. The problem is I beefed it up just a little bit too much. So we're using our file here to just take her down a little bit, kind of smoothing it out, actually making it a nice job. So we're going to clean up this side, and she's a little high on the top. I wouldn't concern myself with the time that it's taken me to do this, because if I had to do it all over again, this would take me a lot less time. It's a learning curve on everything, and that's why custom stuff is expensive, because making one of something, there's that learning factor, but there's the setup time and all of that goes into everything. So that all kind of applies to this, figuring it out. I think that wants to be even right there. And that was part of the problem of getting that pin in. All right, so we're gonna just zip off a little bit right there. Heat that up too much. Oh, geez Louise. Epic fail. Oh my God. Can you believe that? I can believe it's awful hot. Or as we used to say, boy, is that heavy? You dropped it. So that took that right out of there. It's like it didn't bond to it. Now you got me wondering. I don't know. Do you think that little bit of heat took and released that? Well, we're not going to quit. We're going to rebond it. Because we had a little failure there, you're going to get to see how we're going to do this. I'm going to tell you something. I just cleaned it up, and I can't get that epoxy to come off of there. I almost think, I'm going to show you, I almost think that a lot of the epoxy got pushed out of there and it wasn't there to bond it. And then the little bit of heat that I created, well, it was more than a little bit. It was probably more than you would want. Probably more heat than I wanted that I created. So this stuff is pretty easy to work with. Let's make sure this thing's taping this time, because this will be number 3. Third time's a charm, right? Okay, so you just take this plunger, and we don't need too much. They both go down together. That's more than enough. And then they say pull it back just a little bit, so you draw everything back inside, and then put your cover back on. Boom. Okay, now we're going to mix this up. It's kind of important to get it all mixed, because if you don't, it won't harden properly. And I don't think the epoxy failed. I think I might have pushed out too much epoxy on the inside there. I'm hoping that's what happened. And now this time we won't do that. I'm learning. And then we're going to have to leave it again. I thought I was going to conclude this today for you and get it up online. Somebody asked me on my short, because I kind of promoted it a little bit, and he said, why are you making these and not putting up the video? Like, you know, hey, we want to see how to do this. And I don't blame you. I just have to self-promote a little bit, because if I don't do it, who's going to do it? All right, so here we go. And we'll get some in there. And this time I'm going to want to not squeeze it all out, because, I mean, the same thing as when you make a seam in a Korean countertop. You can't, what we call, starve the seam from adhesive, because it won't stand up. Okay, and there's a video coming out on that very shortly, for anybody that might be interested. So we're going to put this back in there. And put some around it again, but not too much. It's kind of encased in it. I don't know. Looks like it's sagging though. We're gonna tape it, but I'll tape it loosely just to kind of hold it. A little behind there, maybe. I think the tape's gonna get all stuck to this now, but I'll deal with it. Okay, there she blows. This has turned right into a major project, so I hope you're learning something from it. I'll be back when we untape it and go and put it into the freezer, and I hope that is the clear ending to this. So far, it hasn't been a success, has it? Well, I told you, it is snowing out here. Big Red's got the plow on it, sitting in there ready to go. Rhodey's getting covered with snow. Max is covered with snow. The only one that's not covered with snow is, oh man, I'm gonna adjust that, or at least lube it up. The only one that's not covered with snow is Bob. Bob is sitting up in the garage waiting to go to work. Yeah, here we go. All right, let me get you set up over here. Well, you're not going to believe this. I just put the cover in out here in the Volvo. It's a success. And the part you're not going to believe is, I thought I was videotaping putting it in. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not taking it out, because I've already ruined it one time taking it out. I'm not taking that cover out, because I've already been down this road, and it's in, it's staying in. The bottom line is, I wanted to show you everything that went on. I did have trouble with it. I straightened it out. You can do this if you've got a broken freezer door. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the epoxy that I used, but it worked. And it's a success. It was a success, turned into a failure, turned back into a success, and the bottom line is, in the end, it was a success. So thanks for joining me on Ferg TV. I really appreciate it. If you got enough mustard left in you, if you can go give it the old up yours, I'd sure appreciate it. And maybe someday you'll subscribe. Who knows? And I'll see you on the next one.